We've talked about connected cars and some people who have tried to directly attack cars themselves and the interfaces that they have. This is a little bit different, which I thought was interesting in that a researcher, Craig Smith, he's actually a part of a couple of different consortium groups that are trying to improve the security around automobiles and electronics within them.
This is white hat activity.
It's white hat activity. But he's moved from having some proof of concept to actually a lot more robust design here. So essentially what we're talking about though is it's a car that he has weaponized the car such that when the mechanic plugs into it with their computer, so when you bring it into the mechanic at the shop, they have a computer system that plugs in, and it can infect the computer system through the car. So it's a Trojan car, just kind of similar to how we always warn people about your USB thumb drive. If you find one, don't stick it in your computer because you could infect your computer. So in the same way, if you don't trust the car, not that this would be a normal circumstance, I would think, but it's an interesting kind of attack vector. He also has kind of shown that once he can pivot over to that mechanic's workstation, that actually can interface with a lot of different models of cars. So this is an agnostic type of attack, independent of whatever model the car is, and potentially can pivot and infect new cars as they plug in, and it acts as kind of the host infection vector at that point. And a lot of these mechanics computers can overwrite the firmware on cars, because that's one of the capabilities they have as part of their processes. So it's an interesting attack vector, one that hopefully isn't going to become a real problem, but it's definitely something you want to bring to light, that people should be thinking about and addressing.
So what is the interface that they're using here? Do you know?
I'm not positive. I'm going to guess it's probably related to the ODB2 port, whatever that they have on there, because I think that's mostly how people interface with the automobiles, but I'm not positive. So
right. And I think, my mindset had been, and I think partly because it kind of grew up as a relatively, kind of a mundane interface, and I think it's been becoming more sophisticated over time. That, originally when they started putting control modules in the cars, they had this old protocol where you'd hold the brake and turn the key and then let the brake off and then turn the key again or something, crazy thing. And then the display, the little engine service light would flash a few times, like there's your code. And then you go and figure out what the diagnosis problem. And now they've got, you plug it in and you've got the computers and it tells you all kinds of things about the history and things. And so it hadn't really kind of occurred to me that there might be a way that you could, and I'm assuming some sort of buffer overflow to be able to inject things into the computer and then be able to have it actually attack the diagnostic system, and be able to actually spread malware in that way. So it's good. It's somebody that is doing research and in the light of good is
it's a white
investigating
hat
this.
Kind of, trying to say, hey, we should be paying more attention to this. Should get addressed. It's not like a real problem out in the world right yet.